Hey guys, so I have a fun one today that's been kicking around my head to the point where I had to make the video. So, as I've said before, my personal favorite watch, if I could have one style of watch, it would be a dive watch. Because to me, it has all of the function that I need in a day. You can get, different features on different watches. Like some have the day and the date, some only have the date, that kind of a thing. But for me, it comes down to I want a watch that's waterproof enough that I never have to worry about it. So for me, that means like 100 meters and up. Has the date, has a decently clean look to it. That's just an aesthetic thing, and has a rotating bezel that I can keep time with. So you can find that in pretty much any dive watch. And yeah, so like I just to me that it's the ultimate form and function watch coming into one, right? And aesthetically, we'll get different things, but I think anyone can pretty much get through almost anything they encounter in a day if they have a dive watch on. So I think everyone should have at least one dive watch in their collection, just like G-Shocks. Are they my favorite watches? No. Do I think everyone should still own one? Absolutely, because they're just amazing watches. So without further ado, we all have different price ranges that we buy things in. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you couldn't afford, other watches. It may just mean that you are a sane person. You don't want to spend more than you have to get a watch that will work. So I'll start from the least expensive to the most expensive. And I chose my words wisely because none of these watches are cheap. Every one of these watches could possibly serve you very well through, the rest of your life. Few battery changes in the course of that life. But that to say, every one of these watches, if taken care of, could very well serve you the rest of your life. So starting here, we have the Casio MRW-200H. And there are a few different colorways that this one comes in. But as you can see, it is a plastic dive watch, plastic everything. I would list off the parts, but they're all plastic except for this back plate, right? And just a super useful, practical bezel. It has my day, it has my date. I have all of the hours as well as the 24-hour markings on the inside, which used to be very helpful for me before I could just automatically translate to military time from enough years on the job. And it has lume, and of course it has the rotating bezel. So some people say this is not a dive watch because it doesn't click, because the bezel could turn both ways. Go get laid. If you're going to be playing with semantics and bullshit like that, clearly you're a fucking virgin. Get off my video, go get laid. After you become a man, come back, watch the video, and rejoin the conversation. So, that being said, I love this watch. I could very well get by the rest of my life with this watch alone. It has served me through some incredibly hard tasks. Anything from I've had patients, I'm trying to restrain the patient from harming themselves, like hitting their arms against bed rails, things like that. I've had, specifically on one occasion, a 350 pound linebacker build individual who my job was just to restrain one of the arms. So I went to restrain one of the arms, barely had a grip, person slammed my whole wrist into the side of the bed rail, and my watch took the entire impact of that. And guess what? It was fine. It's still kicking, and this is actually a backup that I purchased because I have a few of this exact same model, just because I love it so much. But that one is just scratched to hell, and I actually like wearing that one a lot more just because I like scratches. It adds character. But what you get here is you get, like I said, that rotating bezel. You get a day and a date. It's actually the only one that I'm going to list here with the day and the date function. So if that means a lot to you, then great, just buy this one. Click off the video. 100 meters water resistance, which I've swam in this. I've thrown this through a surgical, it's basically this giant machine. Like, think of a surgical dishwasher. It's called an autoclave. You put it in there, your instruments get cleaned through heat and through water pressure. And I've thrown it through one of those and it survived totally fine. So that to say, this will take anything you can throw at it. It's the MRW-200H by Casio. You can be had on Amazon for about 20 bucks. I'll have a link for all these below. But it is an amazing, amazing watch that will serve anyone. And also, not a bad looker. On the wrist, going about your day. This is actually a watch that I see all the time, more than almost any other watch on TV. Like if you watch any cop show, any firefighter show, anything like that, look for this watch because you will see it. So that's the first one. Like I said, that runs about $20. So pretty much anyone can acquire that watch. Now going up a little bit, we have the Casio Duro. And to me, this is the biggest quality jump that you get for the price. This one runs about, I need to see the updated price. I bought it for like $40. But you can pretty much count on getting it around like $50 to $60. I will have links to all of them below in the description. But a handsome watch. It did not come with the Cyclops. That's aftermarket. I added that myself because my vision sucks. And the date window, admittedly, is kind of small in this model. So I added the Cyclops. So imagine without the Cyclops. It is a very handsome watch. It has a beautiful sunburst effect on there. And it just screams class. I have thrown this one on a metal bracelet and had people ask me if it was a Rolex. So it is just absolutely beautiful. 200 meters water resistance, screw down bezel. And this one has the classic dive watch click. 2 clicks a second. And yeah, it just has all the features you can want. The lume is actually better than the other Casio model. So they clearly had a little more money to throw at it. So you're going to get a better lume with this watch. Is it the best lume ever? No, it's far from it. But I personally, if the lume is strong enough that it can be charged in the light of the day or whatever room I'm in, when I go into a dark closet to retrieve something, if I can look and see the time, the lume's good enough for me. I personally am not Batman, so I'm not going to a dark cave for 5 hours and needing the lume to hold up. So for me, the lume is good enough. Can I say that for the MRW-200H? Yes, you can see the time in the dark. Not super well. So that's something to consider. But that being said, it will work. I have read the time in a dark room. It's just kind of instead of like looking at my watch and seeing the time, I have to kind of stare and let my eyes adjust for a second before I can see it. But it's much better on this one. And you have stainless steel, everything. All the way around, super hardy. This one's gotten banged up, banged around. It's held up to a ton of abuse. In this one, to my knowledge, I'll be bold enough to say I believe it is my most worn watch of all time. It's on the stock bracelet for this video. I swapped it out, and it's actually much better rubber as well on this. Much more comfortable strap. Slightly larger watch, but if you're, a man, then it won't be an issue because none of these are really, insanely large watches. And yeah, it's just an absolute workhorse, stainless steel, everything. Incredible watch. And it's around that like $50 range. You okay, Mama? My wife just came out of the kids' room on her knees trying to be quiet to not wake them up. And then finally, we have the newest edition, the Bulova Marine Star, in that beautiful rose gold and gray. Sorry, rose gold and brown. I was looking at my shirt. You can't tell. Rose gold and brown dial. Just absolutely beautiful. What you get on this one is also 2 ticks a second. You get the date, no day, which is actually what I prefer. It keeps the dial cleaner, and I don't really need the day as much. So when I'm doing charting or anything, it doesn't really matter what the day is. I just need the numbers, right? The band is actually a much higher quality rubber. I can feel it. It feels stiffer in the hand as you're holding it, but when I wear it on the wrist, it disappears. I can't explain it. It's the stuff of myth and legends. I haven't had it for very long, about, just a few days. So I'm going to wear it long term and do a real review of this. But what I can say is aesthetically, it is beautiful. Even the clasp, it's that same rose gold, Bulova branded. It has that beautiful sweeping hand. I'll hold it up for a second so you can see. On there. And it is a I call them ultra quartz, but it's the high accuracy quartz movement. So for these ones, I typically will gain or lose like 8 seconds, give or take. These ones are about the same. I'm looking at like 6 to 8 seconds a month that I'm going to be losing. For this one, you're talking 5 to 10 seconds a year. It is a notable jump in timekeeping ability. You have that smooth hand, which is just nice. It doesn't really give you improved performance, but it's just nice to have. And aesthetically, like I said, I think it's a huge jump up, even with this band, which I was originally intending to replace, but I don't think I'm going to anymore, just because I like how it looks so much. You also have better materials all around, including the sapphire crystal. You have the ceramic bezel. You just have upgrades all around in pretty much every area as far as materials and craftsmanship. But the jump is immense. So the MSRP on these is close to $800. That being said, no one pays MSRP, so you're going to probably bag this around $500 to $600. So, is it worth jumping from this one to this one, or even from the $20 one to this one? If you're looking for a practical watch, no. But if you have the same mental illness that I do, and everyone else who likely clicked this video, then the watch that you get doesn't really depend on usefulness or increased features. It's how much money do I currently have to throw at a watch that I want to buy. So I think that is the person that this watch is primarily for, because you're getting a lot of small improvements for a big price jump. But if you are willing to pay it, just the fit and finish is immaculate. Everything on the watch is absolutely perfect. When I initially released a video about this, just like the unboxing, I thought that it was a little off with the bezel where the arrow was pointing down on the 12 o'clock. Realized after that was actually my fault. It was the angle I was holding the camera at and I was looking at the watch at. So that's just a small breakdown. There's obviously thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of other watches available. But to me, you really get a lot of the value. Sorry about that. You really get a lot of the value and practical use from all of these watches, and I cannot recommend them enough. And now there's no excuse why you should not have a dive watch, because you can afford one of these, and I think you should. So I never really know how to end videos, but I pretty much said all I have to say. Let me know your guys' comments your thoughts in the comments below. Everything will be linked below. This is not obviously a full review of any of these watches. I just kind of wanted to show what I have collected and what I enjoy wearing, and what I find has stood up, at least even in a short period of time, to a good amount of abuse, and have just been great tools in every single price range. And I also want to show that anyone can truly afford a great dive watch for day-to-day use. So have a great day, guys.